Hello everyone, this is Helen, your host for the second episode of openEuler Tech Day. Did you have a good coding week? I know I did. It was such a pleasure to meet all of you online. During the next hour, I hope we can have a good time together. Since our last episode dropped last month, we have received lots of questions from all around the world. Our team member replied some of them through our social media accounts, but we believe that many of the questions should be answered in public as they help illuminate our project and goals. openEuler Tech Day is definitely the best platform for doing this. So our topic for this episode is online Q&As. For this, we have invited Dr. Xiong, one of the founders of openEuler community and a current member of the openEuler technical committee. Dr. Xiong has lots of experience in operating system development and architecture design. Today, I'm going to ask him a series of questions related to openEuler from developers and tech enthusiasts. So how about introduce yourself first to our developers?
Yeah. So hi Helen, hi everyone. I'm Xiong. You can call me William. I'm the member of the technical committee of openEuler community. And I'm also the maintainer of some of the SIGs. I've been working in this operating system industry for many years, and I'm very happy today to have a talk with the audience, with Helen, so we can share a lot of things about our community, about our technology, and about the future or something like that.
Okay, welcome. So without further ado, let's get started. We both know that openEuler started to go global and open sourced 3 years ago. But it wasn't until this year that we began to attend international meetings and conferences, and we have opened social media accounts, for example, Twitter, YouTube, such a kind of social media. And a lot of you might never heard about openEuler before, but we have received lots of questions from our developers from all over the world. So the first question I'm going to ask you today, and also the most asked questions from our developers, is what is the original family of openEuler, and has it anything to do with CentOS, or what's the relationship with that? Could you please?
That's also the question I get the most.
Yeah.
A lot of people ask me, is it from CentOS or from other distribution? So I want to emphasize again here that openEuler is a brandly new platform. It has nothing related with CentOS and all other platform. So we built a totally new platform to meet the new requirement from all scenarios for the new features, from the new appearance of the requirement from the industry. So that is our target.
Okay, so you mean that it is a completely new platform that you built from scratch, right? So then could you please give us a brief definition of openEuler?
Okay, yeah, this is a big question, so I need to spend some time to do the comprehensive explanation. First of all, openEuler is a distribution.
A Linux distribution.
Yeah, a Linux distribution. But we release several kind of version. For example, we included the server OS, and also we release the Edge OS version, and also we have the embedded version.
Yes.
And also we released some kind of image which included a virtual machine image or container image or something like that. So it's kind of distribution, but it's not a single distribution. It's not
for many different
uses.
It
is for different platform, for different scenarios. So it is the first of all, it's kind of distribution.
Yeah.
But someone will ask, why do you make another boring distribution? You know, there are thousands kind of distribution in the world, right?
Very famous ones.
Yeah, a lot of kind of this distribution. So we are a distribution, but we are not only a distribution, we are beyond a distribution.
Okay.
Actually, if we consider what is the operating system, it is kind of a collection of the packages. You know, OS can contain thousands of packages.
Okay, yes.
And also, if an embedded system, it maybe contain only 40 or 50 packages to be a operating system. So operating system is maybe a big system,
Yes.
or a small system, or a medium system, but it depends on what kind of feature it is integrated, how many packages integrated.
I see.
So that is the operating system.
Yeah.
So if we have to face so many scenarios, so it's impossible to create one OS for all scenarios. It's totally impossible, right?
Yeah.
So it brings us an idea that we can create a package pool. If OS is composed by packages, so
Yes,
first of all, we create a package pool, and then we build a composed system, a tool. If you want to get some kind of OS, you can input your requirement or feature into this composed system.
Oh, I see.
You can ask the composed system to make an OS which meet your requirement.
Yeah, for whatever I want.
Yeah. So that is, you can imagine the openEuler system is a package pool plus a composed system.
Okay.
So that is the openEuler.
Okay.
So we call openEuler as a platform to create OS.
Oh, okay. So it's more than just the OS.
Yeah. So that is, if we can make a summary, that means openEuler is a kind of distribution, first of all, and then we are also a package pool plus a composed system to help you to create the OS as you want.
Okay.
So that is the openEuler.
Okay. So I know that from our website, we have a expression for this called versatile scenario OS.
Right.
So that's what you mean.
Yeah. But you know, if we want to build this kind of system, it's a big job, right? We need to get the target step by step.
Yes.
Until now, we still used some open source system to build the system. For example, if we want to build the server OS, we use the OBS system to build the system.
Yeah.
And if we want to build the embedded system, we use the Yucto system to build the system. So we still use the separate tool to build the system. But nowadays, in community, we are developing a universal composed system. We want to replace this kind of tools to combine them to be a one overall system to build the system. Until now, we haven't named it. So if we welcome if anyone have good name, and you can tell us. We can choose a perfect name for this system.
Yeah. This is a very good opportunity for our developers who have great names or name suggestions. If you want to give it to us, just leave message on the chat box below, or maybe you can email us or leave messages at our social media accounts, for example, Twitter, YouTube, or LinkedIn. We have 4 different platforms for you. Okay, so what you just talked about is very attractive to me, and also maybe for so many different developers around the world. But can you talk more in detail about the innovative features of openEuler platform?
Yeah, if you want to know more features, I suggest you to get involved in the community to take a look at. I just pick up some features. I just list some features for you to show what's the design philosophy for openEuler. For example, we built a project named Stratuvert, which is, in the virtualization system, we use the Kernel as the system as a platform to run the virtual machine.
Yeah.
But the QMU has a lot of problem. For example, it's big and it cannot be fit into small devices.
Yeah.
And also it has a lot of CV problems. And also it's not so modularized, so it's not easy to split them to be small pieces. Yeah. So for us, we developed a new product which named StratWord. It uses Rust language to write.
This is a very hot language.
Yeah,
today.
very hot language. So we use this language to rewrite the virtualization system. Yeah. And use Rust can reduce a lot of memory problem.
To reduce it's very concise.
Yeah. And also can ensure that we have a less security problem risk. Okay. So that is the problem, the design target. Okay. Another target is we want to make the virtualization platform to be modularized. So that means we try to make everything to be module. For example, if you want to run a serverless on the virtualization system, you don't need to have the keyboard. You don't need to have the mouse. You don't need to have the screen. So you can kick them out of the system.
How can we do that?
So we make everything to be a plug-in module. So if you need a keyboard, just plug in the keyboard module into the system. If you don't need it, you just kick them out. So that is the design. So the second design philosophy for our StratWord. So we rebuild the virtualization platform. At the same time, virtualization. Another system is the container system. Yeah, right. The virtualization plus the container compose the modern infrastructure of the cloud.
Cloud container.
Also, we use C language and Rust language to write a new container engine, which is called Isula or Isula system.
I've heard about that.
Yeah. So that means if you use QEMU and Docker to run your platform, run your infrastructure, now you have the second kind of choice. You can use the StratWord plus Isula to run the infrastructure. And because it can be very light, very small, and more secure. So this kind of platform, this kind of software can be deployed on the small devices, for example, the embedded devices and the edge devices, and also on the cloud devices.
That's really, I think, a huge innovation.
Yeah, so that is a kind of universal infrastructure for whole
different kinds of
scenarios. So that means you don't need to write on the cloud. You have to use the QEMU and Docker, but because it's too big, too heavy, you cannot move on to the embedded devices. You have to change the platform. But nowadays, they are the same. The platforms are the same. So that is a kind of innovation. And also we have the Xiong GDK, a kind of Java runtime system. It's very good and the performance is very good. And also we have the secure some kind of innovation. For example, the SetGear, which is a kind of confidential computing platform. Yeah, right. If you want to use some hardware to do the confidential computing, it's very complicated. For example, if you want to use the Intel SGS, if you move to another platform, for example, the ARM Trust Zone, they're quite different. You have to deal with the different hardware details. So the SetGear platform can cover the hardware difference. You just focus on the technology or the application. So that is all kind of.
It's very compatible to different devices.
Right. We reduce the difficulties of the development. Also, we have the SecPaver, a kind of tool which is in latest world, security is very curious, very important, And we also know SE Linux is a very popular security facility for
Yes.
the Linux system, but it's very difficult to use SE Linux. It's too complicated.
Yeah.
Now we develop a tool, we call it StackPaver, to simplify the usage of the SE Linux. You just very easily to make some rules, to write some config files, input to give the config file to the tool, and the tool will create a different kind of security rules for you. So that is also kind of,
So it's like you configure that.
Yeah.
And just
Right.
plug in use.
Yeah.
Okay.
So also, if you know the cloud native is very popular now, right? In community, we also do a lot of job on the cloud native. For example, we developed the CubeOS. CubeOS. It's kind of how to describe. You can imagine we want to try to use container way to manage OS. So that kind of new way. So we also develop this kind of thing. And also we develop some technology, for example, I think it's a very amazing technology. We call it the kernel hot update. So then
it's like live update during you are.
Yeah, it's a live update. That means you don't need to stop the machine to update the kernel. Right?
Yeah.
I think it's very valuable for thousands or millions of machines in a cloud environment. It's very difficult to maintain. If we have this kind of technology, I think we can resolve the problem, the machine update problem very easily.
Yeah.
But of course, it's a very difficult technology, and we have developed a POC. And so we welcome any developers who get interested in this technology to get involved in it, and even we can make some standard or to make the software or the hardware to conform to the standard, so that it make it to be an industry standard. So that is kind of standard. So there are a lot of this kind of similar projects in the openEuler community. Until now, I guess there are near 200 projects is newly set up. So we welcome more and more newly set up projects. We encourage those new projects can get in the openEuler community. And also we can provide the community release and the innovation release you have the opportunity to get in the release and make the customer or the users to use it. So also we will be aggressive to adopt those new technology in our release.
Yeah, that's the essence of open source contribution, I think.
Yeah,
so if I want to create or build my own projects that I'm interested, so I can just join our community. And
Okay. Set up your project by yourself.
Yeah, that's very attractive, I think. Okay, so just now you mainly talked about the innovative features of openEuler, but now I want to ask another question, is that from the design perspective, from the infrastructure perspective, what's the difference from openEuler to other kinds of very popular communities such as SUSE or a lot of other very popular communities?
Besides the innovation, the project, the feature, actually I just mentioned that the openEuler's design philosophy is to try to build a universal platform, and also the platform can create OS for different scenarios. Why we do this? Imagine if you are a chipset vendor. If you want to support different kind of scenario, you have to comply with this vendor, OS vendor, with this kind of OS, other OS. But in openEuler, we share a same package pool. For example, the kernel. If we set up a new kernel version as the major version for the RTS. So all of the OS release, no matter it's for cloud or server or edge or embedded, it share the same kernel version. So if you are a chipset vendor, you just need to provide your patch, your driver to this kernel. So your chipset will be applied to different scenarios.
Yeah, I get it.
So that is for the hardware. Suppose you are a software vendor. It's the same thing, right?
Yeah.
You just need to compatible with the the package pool with the release. So all of the scenario that openEuler served is also compatible for your application. So that is design philosophy. So that when we talk about that we want to one system for all scenarios, what does it mean? It means the package pool can be applied to different kind of scenarios, and the hardware vendor and the software vendor can get involved in the scenarios, and they just need to do once, apply to every scenarios.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's not just literally all scenario or all devices. It's just we want to cover as many as scenarios.
Yeah, right. Of course, it's I think ideal target, but at least if we can set up this kind of platform, I think it can reduce the hardware vendor and the software vendor a lot of cost or labor efforts. So that is our design philosophy. I think that is in the next 1 or 2 years, we can set up the whole system totally. Yeah,
Okay,
right.
so now in our community we have released a lot of different versions, and if our developers, personal developers or enterprises or any kind of developers, if you want to have a try of these releases, you're welcome to go to our official website to download. There are many releases for different kinds of scenarios and applications, and we have different images for you to download. So please have a try. Okay.
Yeah.
So okay, during the last question, you have introduced about openEuler's hardware support and software support. And now I'm going to ask you, can you please provide us some examples about the different platforms of hardware support?
Okay, so until now, openEuler support all kinds of architecture. For example, the x86 and ARM64 and the RISC-V. You know, RISC-V is very new, very new. And also we support the architecture like long arc and also the power. So for our target, we want to support all kinds of architecture. So if you have some kind of a new architecture or you have new devices, we welcome you contact with the community.
Okay.
You can provide this kind of support.
Adaptations for those different okay.
Right.
But as we all know that there are differences about those architectures.
Yeah, right.
Such as because we know x86 and ARM, they are very mature architectures and a lot of people are using them. But as you just mentioned, RISC-V and sort of other different architectures, they are really new to our developers. So we must have differences between these different architectures.
Actually, absolutely. So for openEuler release, when we release our product, we have the commercial level support. For example, the x86 and ARM64, we provide we can call the RTS version. So RTS version you can consider as a commercial level product. Okay, so long-term support, but its quality is commercial level. But for the RISC-V, it's very new. We don't think it's mature to be deployed in the cloud until now. But it's okay for embedded or small devices, but it's not ready for for desktop or server.
For market use.
For that kind of use. So we release the pre-review version.
Okay.
So you can try it.
Okay.
You can try it. Also, you can use it as an embedded system. But if you want to use in the cloud environment, we don't recommend it. But if you use it, we are very happy to use it.
Yeah.
If you have any problem, bugs, welcome to give us the feedback to promote the material.
Oh, the community and individual developers, they are joining together to improve that kind of review versions.
Right.
Okay. So since you mentioned x86 before, we know that x86 is developed by Intel, the most famous company. So do we have any kind of collaboration project between us and Intel? Can you please give us some examples?
We collaborate with Intel very closely.
Okay.
Intel has joined into the openEuler. They have sent the deal join into the community, and also Intel has set up a SIG in openEuler community, which is called Intel SIG.
Intel SIG.
Because Intel is very has a lot of software. They have a lot of kernel features. So
a very big ecosystem.
Very big ecosystem. So they are porting more and more software into openEuler, and also they provide their patches and the features to collaborate with the kernel SIG or the compiler SIG or virtualization SIG or something like that. So I think the Intel and openEuler will the two ecosystem is combining.
Interconnected.
Interconnected more and more. So we are very happy to see that.
Okay.
So that is also, I think we encourage other kind of ecosystem like Intel ecosystem the same. We want all of this kind of ecosystem can get more and more interconnected and to create bigger and bigger ecosystem. That is our dream.
Okay, so since we opened our social media accounts, international social media accounts, we have received a lot of questions from software developers. Some of them said they have developed different kinds of applications and they are based on a different OS. So if they want to try openEuler, or if they want to just port their applications to openEuler to have a try, is it very difficult to do that?
Okay, it's a complicated question, but overall, I give a quick question. Answer is it's not difficult.
Okay.
Totally speaking, it's not difficult because Linux has developed for many years. It's very mature. So different OS vendor, different OS distribution, the difference is not so big.
Okay.
So so if you develop one application on other platform, so if you move the application on openEuler, most of the case it can run very well. But for some case, maybe you need to do the migration job, right? Because the kernel is different, the version different, the GCC is different, the compiler different, and the base software version is different. Maybe you need to do some migration job. But we in openEuler, we provide a kind of tool which is called Act to openEuler. So this tool can help you to analyze your software, your application, to say hi. Maybe the API you invoke need to do some change. The version maybe need to do some upgrade or something like that. So we provide this kind of tool for the developer to reduce the effort.
To simplify the process.
To simplify the process. And also, we in community we have a SIG named compatible SIG. We have compatible SIG. So if you have problem when you do the migration job, you can refer to the SIG to ask for the help. It's also kind of way to resolve the problem.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So they also asked if we have some tutorials or guides for that, some documentations. Do we have such kind of things?
We have this kind of document, but I don't think it's very comprehensive or perfect.
Okay.
And also, I'm not sure it has the English version is ready or not, or it's perfect.
Okay.
I think we need to do more improvement of the documents.
Yeah.
And welcome, if you use this kind of tool, you can contribute this kind of user guide, or even you can contribute some
blogs, tutorials,
Twitter
right,
or something like that to
Okay.
help us and help others.
Okay,
Right.
okay. Developers help developers.
Yeah,
right.
right.
Okay. Okay, so just now we talked about the hardware support and the ecosystem of openEuler. And now we all know that AI is a very hot topic among the different industries.
Yeah,
so does openEuler has any kind of support related to AI?
Yeah, AI is very hot, and AI is also a very important area the openEuler should support very well. Until now, we have AI SIG in openEuler community, and first of all, we welcome different developers joining the SIG, and also until now the openEuler support the famous the most popular AI platform. For example, the TensorFlow, the PyTorch, and also the Mansball, or something like that. So, of course, the framework has a lot of platform. So, if any platform is used by our developer or by our user, we are very happy to accept them. And also, we encourage our developer to port more and more the framework, AI framework, onto the openEuler. We can accept them.
Okay. So thank you for this question. And besides AI, recent years, neuroscience and neurocomputing is also another very trendy topic. So do we have similar projects like the AI SIG relating to neuroscience?
For some kind of this, we do have neuroscience SIG, but if you, there are two ways to do this kind of aspects. First, we can porting this kind of software stack, the neuroscience software stack onto openEuler, and also maybe I encourage a more easy way to do that is use the AI framework to do that. For example, the Mansball. As I know, Mansball has this kind of module to do this kind of computing. So the two way both are okay. So we hope more and more developer can get involved to build the community together.
It's like using Mindsoar as a medium to connect both things.
Yeah.
Okay, so we all know that openEuler is a community itself, and there are many other different kind of communities in the industry, such as OpenStack. So do we have any kind of collaboration or joint projects between openEuler and OpenStack?
Yeah. Actually, we are very happy to collaborate with different communities. For example, the OpenStack. OpenStack is a very famous community, of course. And until now, we have set up a very close collaboration relationship with OpenStack community. And on the OpenStack portal, you can find openEuler is kind of OpenStack supported platform for them.
It's like partners.
Partners. So beside the OpenStack, we also set up a lot of, we try to build a different link with different communities. For example, we have set up the link with the DPDK community. On the DPDK portal, you can also find the logo of the openEuler.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah, and also we are doing the collaboration job with the open HPC community. And we try to build the mutual support, mutual compatible certificate or something like that. So we try to build more and more link with different community and their software stack, and also just I mentioned, we try to make the ecosystem to link together and make the ecosystem to be a bigger and bigger ecosystem.
Yeah.
So the collaboration between the communities also kind of way to make the ecosystem bigger.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So I see cross communication, collaboration, or joint projects are very important to our community.
Right.
But what if I ask you another question? How about the business support, or if some kind of enterprises would want to make profits based on our OS, what can they do?
Yeah, it's a very good question. You know, when we talk about open source, when we talk about the community, some people talk about a lot of the culture or something like that, but
open source.
Yeah, open source experience or something like that. But you know, open source does not reject to the business. It's friend.
Okay.
It's friend.
Okay.
So openEuler community is a kind of commercial friendly community.
Okay.
So we support our business or commercial partner to make profit from the community. Okay. We have different kind of way. For example, we can support our the OS vendor to release their commercial OS release powered by openEuler or based on openEuler. So we provide the RTS version and we encourage the OS vendor to base the RTS version to
develop their own distributions.
Yeah. They can sell their release to the customer to provide the service or to earn their money. It's very good.
I get it.
Yeah, and also we also can support this kind of model that if the customer use the openEuler RTS directly, and but they want some kind of service, professional service or something like that, we also encourage the vendor can provide this kind of service. But if the customer or the vendor find some bugs or find some problem, we also encourage them feedback those issues back to the community. We fix the issue with them together to make the system more better. And also we support other, another way is we have found that some of the vendor to integrate the openEuler system into a box, to make a box, make an equipment, make a machine. That is fine. It's just like an embedded system. To deliver the device. It's a very good, I think, business model. So we can, as I know, we can support this kind of three kind of business model.
Okay, so it's like we are alone, non-profit, but we can help other enterprises or partners, business partners, to make more profits and to operate their business, right?
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So my last few questions. We all know that openEuler is a community based in China. So a lot of our documentations and our repos, the language of it is Chinese mainly, and we have translated some of them in English, but there are not still some kind of Chinese lived in our documentation. So how do we solve this problem? It's different. It's very difficult for our developers outside China to read and to understand our projects. How can we solve that?
It's a good question. I think it's as I know, it's the first big Chinese project go abroad to do the globalization work. And so in community, we set up a SIG, the globalization SIG, but the name is G11N.
G11N.
SIG, yeah. So we want this SIG to be a base for the globalization, if we want to try to translate some document, and we try to do some globalization work, so we can get together in this SIG to do the job. And for the language, we encourage the developer, the people to talk or communicate with by English. It's okay, but we don't force to do that. You can use your favored language to do the communication, because I believe that AI is so powerful in the future. If you read something, it's not difficult to translate to be different.
At least I can use the machine translation.
To read a lot of things. So actually we don't do any limitation for the language. You can use your preferred language to do that. But if you are a developer who is worked in GitHub, of course, I think English is better. But if you learn some Chinese, we also welcome you getting to the Git to talk about the Chinese or Korean or Japanese or other Germany. Both are fine. So that is the basic philosophy. And actually, we also want to build some the tool or something like that to help people to do more, to reduce some translation effort. Maybe it's maybe under the line.
So maybe in the future we can foresee that.
Right.
Our G11N SIG is going to bridge the gap between different language users.
Right.
That's very good. And as far as I know, I think most developers are using GitHub or GitLab outside China, even in China. And I believe now openEuler is based, the repos are mostly based on Gitty. So it's kind of a Chinese based host platform. So how can we, if we want to go global, go international, maybe we need to solve this problem one day. So what's your opinion about this?
It's a question, it's a problem, because in the future, nowadays we are doing the project, we name it as the infrastructure 2.0. So we want to upgrade the infrastructure wholly. In my brain, my picture is like, actually, no matter the code is hosted some places, it's just no matter
the platform.
No matter platform, the Git or GitHub or GitLab, they're just a host place. The community should, I think, has a little relationship with not bundled with the platform, the host platform. So we are now do the infrastructure to debundle those the relationship. So in the future, I think if you get used to the GitHub, you can set up the repo in GitHub, and we provide kind of the tool. You can use the tool to bring the GitHub repo or GitLab repo or Git repo to a host system. No matter the repo exists where it exists, but the build system, the compositor can get them together to do that. So that is the whole picture in the future. But now it's still under the development. So in my brain, maybe in the next year, we can get a prototype to release. So welcome anyone to get involved and to take a look at, to make a try. So in next year. So that is my hope.
Maybe give us some suggestions.
Right.
So also I believe that we already have a GitHub Mirror besides Git now. So if developers who wish to contribute and maybe they have PRs or issues related to openEuler, they are welcome to contribute to us.
Right.
On whatever platforms. Okay, so I believe that's the end of our questions today. And thank you, Dr. Xiong, for attending our openEuler Tech Day and answered so many questions from developers all around the world. And if you have any feedbacks or you want to share your experiences about openEuler and open source, you're welcome to contact us at our email contact@openeuler.io and maybe leave a comment down below at YouTube. Okay, so thank you again for joining our show today, and welcome to join openEuler Tech Day next time. Stay tuned for our next episode.